I'm a little frustrated because I had some good dialogue going into that, man. And all of it, I mean, technology never. I don't really suppose there's ever a good time for technology to go awry and to go wrong. But yeah, man, I had some good dialogue. That was whack. I had some really good dialogue there. But again, we're gonna get into Tim Walz. We're gonna talk a little bit about Cori Bush. And I'll restate a bit of the dialogue just so that it's in this live stream. I'm a little frustrated that that went down. But whatever. It's all good. That's how life is sometimes. But let me go ahead and get some of these clips ready, and then I'll keep going. Man, my boy, I had the stream going before, and I had some good dialogue, but then it gave me the blue screen, and I don't know why, because I wasn't playing music, I wasn't doing nothing like that. But hey, you know how it goes sometimes. But anyway, before we get into Tim Walz, what my commentary before we got the blue screen basically on Tim Walz was that it seems that he definitely is the best pick that Kamala possibly could have went with, for a couple of reasons. Not just his record, but when you compare him to someone like Josh Shapiro, right? Like Josh Shapiro had issues, but like his charisma, his strong ability to speak, his strong ability to rally. I don't think it's quite as effective as Tim Walt's ability is Tim Walt's charisma, is Tim Walt's ability to rally people, because Tim Walz just seems to be more authentic. You know what I'm saying? You made it through the congratulations, Annie. Congratulations. She made it through the primary. That's so awesome. Thank you. I'm glad. I'm so glad you're here, and I'm happy to hear that. That's fucking awesome. That's great. Great news. I'm happy about that. That's cool as shit. We gonna have to get you back on here. Maybe sometime in the next week or so. We definitely gonna do that so we can talk about it. That's great. Congratulations. Um, man, that's awesome. I'm happy for real. I'm genuinely happy for you. That's really cool. Um, but yeah, so like I was saying, again, before the last stream cut off, basically, I think that even though, like even if you like take off Josh Shapiro's, issues that could have caused Kamala's campaign problems with, like, again, like his stance on Israel and some of the stuff that he did while he was Attorney General. Again, I think that Tim Walz, I think that he's more authentic, and I think that he's just the best pick that they could have gone with. And then what I was saying was that I had some criticism for progressives and how we handle things. I was saying that I think that we have a tendency to point our fingers at things that, while it's legitimate, it's really easy. So like it's really easy to say, oh, well, Cori Bush lost because of APAC, or it's easy to say, well, the Democrats didn't let us in. But those are things that we can't really control. So we need to focus more on the things that we can control. So, for instance, one of the things that I mentioned about Cori Bush, some of the stuff that I read for her constituency, because the black vote didn't go to her. And it's not just because, oh, well, people got confused with APAC ads. Nah, there's other criticism there. Bush didn't do a good job communicating with her constituency. And her constituency didn't feel like she was very present. That contributed to the loss. You know what I'm saying? I think that progressives need to do a better job um, building coalitions. I think we can do a much better, especially going forward. Especially going forward. The past is the past, but I think going forward we can do a better job gaining allies, and just taking advantage of the way that the system works. We're very good at raising small dollar donations, and I think that that's one of the progressive movement's greatest strengths, is not just our ability to raise money from small donors, but also just progressives genuine want for a better world. The genuine support for strong social causes, for a more responsible economic system. You know what I'm saying? So I think that we can do a much better job focusing on what we can control versus what we cannot control. And then I gave an example about my company Politiscope that I started in 2018. Uh, Politiscope was pretty much out of done and gone by 2021. And like it's really easy to be like, oh well, the pandemic is why we went under. Sure, that played a part, but what's more important than that, again, well, if we would have played our cards better, then we would have made it through the pandemic. What were the biggest mistakes that we made? um what were the biggest mistakes that we made as a company? And what I identified was, we had too much overhead. We were spending too much money on things that we didn't necessarily need to spend the money on, and the product itself was too much too soon. Like when you put out a product, especially if it's tech, you don't want people to think about. You want people to use it for one thing, maybe two things. But Politiscope was a way for people to donate money to campaigns and see what politicians' voting records were, and find out what bills mean. And you could keep up with the news. It was just a little too much, you know what I'm saying? So through that failure, I was able to learn. I and our team, we were able to really learn some powerful lessons, so that going forward, as I continue to be involved, in startups or movements, I'm able to be like, maybe we should scale things down a bit so that we can narrow our focus a little more. Maybe we can minimize expenses. Maybe we can do a better job messaging. You see what I'm saying? So that's essentially my message to progressives. Yes, Annie, we'll definitely I'll email you, and we'll schedule something. But yeah, so that's my critique on progressives. Again, I think that we do a great job with many things, but I think that going forward we can do a better job with focusing on what we can control, and not always just, like, yeah, APAC got a lot of money. All these corporate PACs, they got a lot of money, and they throwing it everywhere. But that doesn't mean that we can't still win. You know what I mean? So yeah, so I think that we can move forward stronger, and learn important lessons. So that's my take. So now let's go ahead and get into the stuff today. And we just gonna be all over the place. All right, now we got Jessica Tarlov. Uh, all right, here we go. And again, like I was saying about Tim Walz, um, while he's the most, I guess he may be the most progressive governor in the country. But again, like I was saying, and one of the reasons I'm repeating all of this is because the last stream got cut off. But um, I said about shit. What was I even just saying? Oh shit! I'm gonna just go into the movie. I think. I mean, the video. I think I pretty much got everything that we missed in the last one off my chest. Um, so let's go ahead and just get into it. All right, here we go. Jessica Tarlov turns the tables on co-hosts alleging Democratic anti-Semitism. Why are there no Jewish Republican senators? And as I'm sure y'all have seen, the
And Josh, what do you
that they're saying, oh, Democrats didn't choose Josh Shapiro because of anti-Semitism, which of course is absolute nonsense. It was funny because Chuck Schumer, who obviously is Jewish, and um one of the most powerful Democrats in the country, he was like, news to me. Like, it's kind of hard to rise higher in the ranks than Chuck Schumer. And of course, as well, this just doesn't matter to like anybody who's trying to decide. If you're still undecided about this, then, oh, the Democrats are anti-Semitic, surely is not going to work.
think happened there?
Well, I don't think it's because she doesn't like Jews, because she's married to one. And there was a mezuzah on the outside of the Naval Observatory because of this Democratic administration.
And again, also, like I said, I think that Josh Shapiro, like if you don't look at things that he did as an attorney general, if you don't look at his stance on Israel, which could have caused unnecessary issues for Kamala's campaign. Um, I think that Josh Shapiro does. He's charismatic. He's very good at speaking. I think that he's good at energizing people, but it just doesn't have the same flavor of authenticity that Tim Walz brings. I think Tim Walz is a much more authentic individual. Josh Shapiro is more of like a professional. You know what I mean? Like he's more of a career politician, more of a professional guy. And Tim Walz, again, he's becoming America's dad, America's uncle. Um, so yeah, I think that she absolutely made the best decision she possibly could have.
So that
A
makes
majority
it even worse.
It's not.
Wow.
It's
No, I would never deny the fact that we have an anti-Semitism problem in the party. But there was more that complicated Josh Shapiro becoming the vice president than that. There was the chemistry issue. There was his support for school vouchers, which angered the teachers' unions.
Virginia.
And
Thank you so much for the $5 super chat. You say we're not happy about giving y'all our governor, but if he can help spread what's been done here all across the USA, I will be happy. I think that's a good one. Again, thank you for the super chat, but also I think that that's a powerful statement in terms of how people feel about him there. Unless the governor really does a good job and helps people out, I don't think that, how much do you really think about your governor on a daily basis, unless you genuinely like him, unless you genuinely love him. So thank you for that. But yeah, I think that Shapiro she didn't choose him for a reason. Obviously, it's not because he's Jewish, but I think she, when she looked at everything, Tim Walz is just clearly a better pick. He just is.
the labor bosses gave interviews. They liked Tim Walz the best and Andy Bashir from Kentucky. I don't think that's because he's a Jew. I think it's because he wasn't as strong on labor issues. A majority of American Jews are Democrats.
Good point there. Good point there about, because again, like like Josh Shapiro definitely, like, he has strengths for sure, and Pete Buttigieg has strengths. He's very intelligent. He's a very, very strong communicator, but he's the professional career class. So there's certain people he can't really reach. So yeah, good point there.
And Donald Trump has, I think he called Doug Emhoff a crappy Jew last week. That's hilarious. Jews find that hilarious. Stop talking. It's not funny.
No, you know what it is.
I have a different sense of humor than Donald Trump.
You're going to keep breaking down over the things that Trump says. That's what I'm saying is funny.
I have had meltdowns, and that.
Yeah, and also good point there as well. Again, I think that without a doubt, Shapiro's I don't think anybody really could say, or I don't think anybody in here is like, oh, he's a terrible governor, because I don't think that's accurate. I think that, for a politician, for a corporate guy, I think that there's definitely some strengths that he has, and there's some good that he's done. But yeah, no, Tim Walz was he was just more appropriate for the moment. Luke, thank you so much for 9 months of membership. You said don't love the governor of Virginia, but forced to think about him. Hey, well, Luke, you follow politics closely. You know what I'm saying? So, but yes, thank you so much for 9 months of membership. Thank you, everybody, for everything. It really means a lot.
That was not one of them. But I want to say something about the Republican Party and Jews. If the Republican Party was such a safe space for them, why are there no Jewish Republican senators? There are 9. They're all Democrats, and Chuck Schumer is a Jew, and he's the leader of our party. There are 26 Congress people who are Jewish, and only 2 of them are Republicans. It's also the Secretary of State, the Secretary of the Treasury, the Director of National Intelligence.
Have you ever heard of Stockholm Syndrome?
Yes.
Good. Case closed.
Please say what you were going to say.
I mean, look, who was out there?
I really don't know how Jessica Tarlov does it. I really don't. Because these people are they're so dumb. They're really just so dumb and obnoxious. And yeah, I don't see how she can possibly enjoy her job at all. And there's no way that she's friends with any of them.
Or making sure that Jewish kids could get into their classes.
Yeah.
I mean, who was out there moving?
Donald Trump had dinner with Nick Fuentes. Don't give me this.
You don't give me this, okay?
And
here's the bottom line.
I give you whatever I want.
Who moved the embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem when Obama said
so
he
are
would,
we just
Clinton said
a
he
bunch
would,
of
Who has Jewish grandkids, Jessica?
Against his will.
He does.
Yeah.
Who converted to Judaism?
These people get paid millions of dollars a year to be complete morons on national television More people watch them than they watch pretty much. Well, when I say them, I mean Fox. More people watch Fox than most channels. I mean, and man, can you imagine what it would be like to get paid millions and millions of dollars, and you just, you can you get drunk before work and just be a jackass? That would be great. But then again, none of us would do that because none of us are idiots.
His daughter?
Yes.
Yes.
Case closed.
Case
She
closed.
doesn't want to have anything to do with him. She doesn't.
In fact, she definitely better be paid the most. And yes, I applaud her too, because I think that she's necessary and needed, and it can't be easy. But yeah, I hope she gets paid the most too.
They don't want to be the
come on. It's not
come
about
on.
that.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you know the Trumps?
I do not have the
no,
Trump
you
hotline.
don't know. So
but I know that Ivanka
don't
and Jared.
presume that you know.
Okay.
Because you don't. Period.
Right.
Okay. Well, all the Jewish Americans that vote for Democrats are idiots to you guys. Is that correct?
You said it.
Okay.
I'm asking for
I think you should take.
They're so unserious. They're just not serious people. Okay, now we're gonna go to Mehdi Hassan. He's talking about the ridiculousness of Republicans saying, "Oh, they didn't pick Josh Shapiro because of anti-Semitism." Like, really? Okay. Again, especially coming from Republicans, that's rich. That's really crazy. But here we go. Mehdi Hassan tears into Republicans for accusing Harris and the Democrats of anti-Semitism over VP pick. One of the dumbest and most dangerous lies. All right, let's see.
Full stop. There you go.
Mehdi.
But I want to ask you, Mehdi, because as you pointed out, governing, the decision that she made is also being used to criticize her and her viewpoints in the Democratic Party. They're talking less from the Republican
Exactly. They just make animal noises whenever she's making sense.
side about Tim Walz and more about the decision not to choose Josh Shapiro as the governor. And the word anti-Semitism is coming up as some basis to substantiate that criticism. What's your reaction?
I mean, it's one of the most, one of the dumbest and most dangerous lies that we've heard from the Republicans in recent days. Obviously, the call went out on whatever right-wing WhatsApp group, because they're all doing it. Ari Fleischer, Newt Gingrich, they've all been like Nikki Haley.
Speaking of calls going out, Donald Trump put out an email at like 4 something in the morning that was like, or his campaign did. It was, what did it say? It said, "The world has gone to shit in the last 2 weeks." Oh my God.
Ted Cruz, they've all been piling in, but it's anti-Semitic. I think Eric Erickson said today, there's no Jews at the top of the Democratic Party allowed, to which Chuck Schumer responded, "News to me." And it's not just the Senate Majority Leader, who is Jewish Democrat, by the way. All 10 Jewish senators in the United States Senate are Democrats. 24 of the 27 House members who are Jewish are Democrats. All 4 governors in America who are Jewish are Democrats. The Secretary of State, the Treasury Secretary, the Attorney General, the Homeland Security Secretary, and the Second Gentleman are all Jewish Democrats. So it's a nonsense slide. That's the Democratic Party's record. Look at the Republican Party record. Vance is saying this is anti-Semitic. The guy is running alongside Donald Trump, the most openly anti-Semitic presidential candidate we've seen in our lifetimes. This is a guy who hosted a Holocaust denier for dinner at his home less than 2 years ago, who says American Jews are disloyal to Israel, constantly says that, who famously praised Nazis, saying Jews will not replace us as very fine people, who last week was on a radio show where he agreed with the host calling Doug Emhoff a crappy Jew. Today he called Adam Schiff shifty Schiff. So Republicans really need to sit this one out. I mean, Vance himself has defended Marjorie Taylor Greene, she of Jewish space lasers fame. So the idea that they want to make this an issue, good luck to them.
Brian, what is your reaction to that? Because obviously Trump has come back to say that he is not anti-Semitic, that this is something, and that he'll point to his daughter, obviously his son-in-law as well, but one example of his love for them. What's your reaction to how this is playing politically?
You know, listen, I think the Republicans have sort of stepped back and watched the Democrats eat each other up with, what did the Democrats call him? Genocide Josh. You know, that wasn't a Republican term that came up. That was a Democratic term. A Democrat came up with that term to describe Josh Shapiro, a Jewish Democratic governor. So we're watching this debate take place. We're seeing them rip each other.
There's not really a debate happening, though. So what he's saying right now, and this is, like Mehdi Hassan said, good luck with this, because the only people who are really making this claim are Republicans. There's not a debate on the Democratic side about, he, whatever the hell he's talking about. All of this shit is coming from Republicans.
Each other apart based on,
They're tearing each other apart. No, they're not. Democrats are not tearing each other apart. In fact, pretty much everybody's happy with this and everybody's rallying behind them. So no, this isn't true.
whether you can be pro-Israel or anti-Palestine or however the situation works out. But it's not the Republicans that are sort of pushing that. Genocide Josh came from the Democratic Party, from a Democrat operative to try to slander, to try to slur Josh so he would be sort of disqualified of Kamala Harris. That wasn't a Republican thing. That's where the Democratic Party is now. You can look at the colleges, campuses where it was primarily Democratic young activists that were very much anti-Israel. They were saying, you know, we don't care that you were attacked. Well, I was just saying, you don't care that you were attacked. You don't care that there's still American hostages in Israel that are being held against their will. You know, and they were protesting. This is coming from within the Democratic Party. So to try to play it off as a Republican thing is just disingenuous.
No. And not only that, but like this whole discussion is literally not even going to reach the average voter. No one's listening to this shit. Absolutely no one. This is a professional class discussion right here. That's what this is.
There was a Holocaust denier in Donald Trump's home less than 2 years ago.
Sure, they're
all of these people here, including Mehdi Hassan, are very successful and professional. This is a conversation being had on CNN roundtables. This is not a conversation that's being had with people who are still considering who to vote for. And his face, I mean, this is just a still, but he's looking like, oh, I'm so full of shit. I'm gonna shit my pants. I'm so full of it.
Absolutely was, and that person's an idiot. I'll be the first to tell you that. But what we're talking about right now,
Donald Trump's an idiot.
No, the person who's this anti-Holocaust denier, he's an idiot.
That's not what I asked. Why was he in Donald Trump's home in Mar-a-Lago?
You know, he invites a lot of non-traditional media folks, people. That guy owns a podcast, or he does a podcast, is my understanding.
It was Kanye and Fuentes, both Holocaust deniers.
Like I said, he goes to
Kanye and Fuentes.
A lot of non-traditional media podcasts and has these conversations. I wouldn't do it, but that's what the campaign has made the decision. It's clearly worked. Remember, we got to the first.
It's clearly worked. No, it hasn't worked. You motherfuckers have been losing for the last 4 years, and you about to lose again. So no, it hasn't worked. What are you talking about?
Debate with Joe Biden and Donald Trump. Joe Biden dropped out. He demanded the debate because he was behind, because of these Holocaust deniers, all these things. Language wasn't working. He needed a Hail Mary.
What are you talking about? What is he talking? I really don't know what the hell he's talking about. What Holocaust deniers? What is he talking about?
And the Hail Mary failed. So all these things that are coming up landed with the Democratic Party first.
Something tells me that this topic is going to continue and won't be resolved this particular evening.
But it's not a real topic. It's not a real topic. It's just something that Republicans are saying, and everyone's making fun of them for it because it's so ridiculous. I don't know. Like, what does he mean? Who denies the Holocaust on the left? Who on the left is denying the Holocaust? I don't know. I'm not quite sure about that, but you know, because the best that because this is some of the best that they got here for Tim Walz. They're calling him yes, exactly. That face should be a meme because it said everything. The face he had on said everything. Because this is some of the best that Republicans can do. Tampon Tim, you know, because he provided hygiene products in girls' bathrooms at the school because, you know, that's I don't they have nothing, man. They got nothing. I mean, this is more funny than anything else. Like if you hear Tampon Tim, you just kind of giggle at it and move on. Republicans really will. Okay, I don't like how this is written. But yeah, I read 2 words. I can tell this article is gonna make me mad. Anyone else thinking the tampon Tim thing is just making Walz seem even more cool? The dude advocated for girls to get access to feminine hygiene products in school. Why is that a bad thing? In the boys' oh yeah, he put tampons in the boys' bathroom because, you know, because famously men have menstrual cycles because men have wombs. Yes, you know, everyone knows that men have all of us have a uterus. You know what I'm saying? I have a uterus, and so no. Why would he put these in boys' bathrooms? Of course he didn't. And yes, he oh yeah, he was accused. You know, JD Vance honestly is the worst pick ever that I've ever seen. Because listen, I mean, in addition to him just not, not him being, weird. Let's just leave it at that. Him, in addition to him just being weird as hell, he's so young and he hasn't done anything. 39 is young for a politician. It just is, especially for like a vice president. Like you, you'll see younger people who maybe are in city council. You'll see younger people who maybe have maybe they're a mayor of a small town. But if you're 39, like, what have you really done as a politician? Especially him, because he became a senator in 2020, right? I think that's when it was. It was in 2020 when he Oh, well, Aaron, there you go. See, there you go. I get, but to them, it's just, I guess that Tim Walz is attempting to, what did John Voight say? They want to binary or non-binary all the kids. That's what John Voight said. We watched a clip of him yesterday. He said the Democrats are trying to non-binary everybody. So next thing you know. But thank you for pointing that out, Aaron. I appreciate that. These people are ridiculous. But yeah, like I was saying, JD Vance was saying that Governor Tim Walz's record is a joke. You don't have a political record, JD. You became a politician 4 years ago, and you're in the Senate, and nothing happened in the Senate. Like literally nothing. In fact, I think this is the most unproductive session of Congress that we've had ever. So for you to sit here and say that that Tim Walz's record is a joke, well, first and foremost, it's not a joke. His record is fantastic. 2, at least he has a record to speak of. Yo, I'm really looking forward to the Tim Walz and JD Vance debate. Obviously, I'm looking forward to Kamala and Trump if Trump shows up. Obviously, that's going to be great. But oh my God, Tim Walz is going to destroy JD Vance because again, not just because of who Tim Walz is, but compared to Walz, JD is a boy. He's a little kid. He's a little boy, and he's done nothing. It's going to be incredible. It's going to be one of the greatest things. Well, thank you, Annie. So it's not even 4 years that he's been there. Thank you for correcting that. He's only been there for 2. Like, bro, you don't have a record to speak of. He's the worst pick ever. Like at least Doug Burgum rather. At least Doug Burgum is a governor. And he's older and he's done stuff. At least he has a record. I am very, very much looking forward to the debate. It's going to be historical. It's going to be absolutely just historical. All right. Now, speaking of debates, let's see what Trump had to say about debating. Now, Donald Trump is calling Kamala Kamabla, or Kamabala or something like that. Like, okay, Donald. All right. Trump appears to keep open possibility for ABC debate with Kamala Harris while still pushing hard for Fox News. Exactly, Fritza. He's been in the Senate for 2 years and ain't done nothing since he's been there. Like, he doesn't have a record to speak of. Talking about some, listen, Tim Walz's record is a joke. You gonna get lit up.
The media, outside of you people, of course, but the media is so they're trying to build her up to the next Margaret Thatcher liberal version, and I don't believe it's going to happen. I hear she's hasn't taken one interview. She would never do an interview like this. That I can guarantee with any network. She doesn't do interviews because she.
And again, one of the first and foremost, Kamala. Since she's announced, Kamala has done a few interviews. And of course, she's going to do more interviews because she has to. But also, honestly, shut the fuck up. Who cares? Who cares? All you people are doing are whining. You're just whining and crying and complaining. It's like, oh well, she'd better do an interview next week, or else what? Or else what? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, she could do whatever she wants.
Can't answer questions. I don't know how she debates. I heard she's sort of a nasty person, but not a good good debater. But we'll
Yeah, she's not a good debater, but that's why you're scared.
see, because we'll be debating
I
her.
don't know if y'all remember, but what was it? It was one of the primary debates, and she did really well in the first one, and it's been 4 years since that, and she's improved at it.
I guess in the pretty near future, it's going to be announced fairly soon, but we'll be debating her. I'd like to see it on Fox, by the way. I would like to see it. My preference would be Fox, but we have to debate.
Do you have an announcement, Mr. Are you working stuff out behind the scenes? Because we haven't heard about it yet.
No, but
Exactly. She's doing rallies that are drawing more people than Trump's rallies, because the Republican base knows that they're going to lose, and because they know they're going to lose, they're deflated. Basically, what was going on in the Democratic Party with Joe Biden has now completely transferred into the Republican apparatus. And even then, Trump was barely beating Joe Biden. He really wasn't beating him by much at all. And now the tables have completely flipped. And it's, Donald Trump, it does not, the perception of him is that he's going to lose. And at the end of the day, people are emotional before we're logical. And we have to feel like we can win in order for us to put forth our best effort. If you feel like you're going to lose, you're not going to try as hard, because the energy just isn't there the same. The tables have completely turned in the other direction.
I can tell you every network loves me very much right now. They love me very much. I've never been so loved by CBS and by ABC fake news. And by NBC. No, they're all in love with me now, so that, I say yes, because it's up to me, obviously, also.
But, on the
look,
debate,
the most important thing is we get debate. I think debates are very important, and I think she'll be exposed just like Biden was exposed. Nobody knew Biden was that bad, and then he was exposed during the debate, and they tried to have a series of comebacks after that, and they didn't work out too well, and they viciously overthrew him. I mean, he was overthrown in it using.
He was viciously overthrown. No, he stepped down, Donald. That's what happened. He stepped down.
Using every trick in the book, they overthrew him. It was pretty amazing, actually, to watch.
I want to come back to the debate. Just to close this up, you're in litigation with George Stephanopoulos on ABC. So there's right, and the judge says, the suit's going to go forward. So how could you go on ABC, especially if he's going to be one of the moderators?
Well, you could use that as an excuse. I could use that. I've said that. Is there a conflict? And there might be George Slopadopoulos. And he's got problems, and they've got problems.
Honestly, the stuff that used to kind of be funny and work with Trump is now it's not funny, and it's not working anymore. It's just pathetic. Like Slopadopoulos, like, dude, shut up, man, just shut up. Slopadopoulos, Kamala Harris, Barack Hussein, like, dude, shut up. But if they're going to have I guess David Muir is going to be the host in that case. You have all the hosts are pretty much named, and you have Brett and Martha, and they're great. And I'd love to see it on Fox, but it takes two to tango.
Well, maybe you get two.
She doesn't want to debate. Look, she doesn't want to debate. She wants to say, I don't want to debate, but I do want to debate. When it came to Biden, I accepted everything. I accepted Jake Tapper. I accepted everything because he didn't want to debate. After I accepted everything, the only thing I said, let's stand up. They wanted to sit down at a desk. I said, that's not going to look so great. So I said, but I accepted everything. And pretty much that's the way I do it right now because I want to debate her. I think it's important for the country that we debate. Now, where it is, I'm so tired of this dude, man. I'm so tired of him. Again, like it's none of it's funny anymore. It's just stupid. It's just dumb. I'm tired of it.
Slopodopolis. Like, this shit isn't funny anymore, man. Can we please move on from this complete idiot? Please, can we move on from this dude? Slopodopolis. Shut the fuck up. All right, here we go. More from him in that interview. Trump claims he saved Tim Walz from an angry mob in first TV comments since Harris Walz ticket announced. All right, here we go. Exactly. Good point, Torchy. I'm glad you said that. Again, Slopodopolis. Like, dude, you're such a clown.
Joining us now for his first TV interview, his reaction to this ticket that he's fighting against them to have the right to go to the White House and become the 47th president. Let's welcome the 45th president of the United States, GOP presidential nominee, President Donald Trump. Mr. President, welcome back.
Thank you very much.
So,
thank you.
Your reaction to Governor Tim Walz joining Kamala Harris to go against you and J.D. Vance?
I would say my reaction is I can't believe it. I never thought this was going to be the one that was picked. I know him a little bit. I helped him very much during the riots because his house was surrounded by people that were waving.
You helped him during the riots.
An American flag. Doesn't sound like very bad people. And he called me, and he was very concerned, very, very concerned that it was going to get out of control. They only had one guard. I guess it was at the mansion or at his house in some form. And he called me. I said, what do you want me to do about it? I was in the White House. He said, if you would put out the word that I'm a good person. And I did. I put out the word. I said, he's a good person. I hope everything's good. And everybody put down their flags and took their flags with them. But they took their
How did that? What?
American flags and their MAGA flags, and they left. It was thousands of people. And that was the first time I said, wow, that's very interesting. And he called me back and he thanked me very much. That's my only thing I ever had to do with him. He's a very, very liberal man, and he's a shocking pick. And I'm thrilled. I could not be more thrilled.
Yeah, I mean,
no, I could not be more thrilled. No, see, again, nobody believed. Well, I'm gonna say nobody, but enough people. The people don't believe he's going to win. And with every passing day, that's becoming more and more and more and more and more and more of a reality. People think he's going to lose. And that shit matters, man. Look at what happened with Joe Biden. And as soon as he stepped out, energy and vibes, man, that shit matters.
When they selected him, it's really a gift for you because this election is all about the issues. And all of y'all have records. You've been the president.
Oh, Mike Boy going to be high as hell tomorrow.
We know where the economy stood. We know what your record is. We know what Kamala Harris's record is, and we know what his record is. And they are extremely progressive. Talk about how you're going to handle this.
And again, that whole again for this country, sure, it's extremely progressive. But when you really paid family leave is not extremely progressive. You know, feeding kids at school is not extremely progressive. It's just not. Like it's nowhere near as a progressive discussion or idea as what I pointed out before in the last stream. Like when you talk about like single payer healthcare, there's so much more of a debate to be had because again, what does single payer mean? Does that mean just expanding Medicare? How do we transition from all of this private insurance to a public option to a single payer? How do we get there? There's so much to discuss. But there's not that much to discuss when it just comes to, oh, we should feed kids. You know, we should pay people more. Stuff like that. You know what I mean? No security. This dude, man, again, I'm so tired of him. Okay, he's just, He's a joke, man. Donald Trump is, he's just, ugh. I'm tired of it. I'm so tired of it. Kamala's continuing to go up in the polls. Not much point on is honestly in that's the trend. Polls are trending in her favor. So honestly, it's like unless that changes, then she's up in the polls. Unless the trend changes, she's winning. So there's really not that much to talk about there. And then all the other indicators, all the volunteers, the signups, the money donated, the small dollar donors, all these people coalescing around her. You know what I'm saying? And two, I think that they are doing a very, very good job at disarming this campaign. These people are weird stuff. It works beautifully because it disarms them. It's like, yeah, these people are dangerous and we don't want them in power, but actually they're a bunch of weird dweebs. They're a bunch of rejects. And let's not take them, let's just win. Let's not take them seriously. It's working so beautifully. And they need to keep that up. And it looks like they are, like with stuff like this. Like keep on trolling this man. Keep trolling him. Troll the pants off of him. He can't handle it. And the campaign is deflated. This is one of the worst campaigns I've ever seen in terms of what Donald Trump is doing right now. The campaign is non-existent. Harris campaign trolls Trump on his own social media platform with comparison of Philly crowd sizes. Again, keep doing stuff like this. Keep it up. And Tim Walz is going more and more become America's dad. Vice President Kamala Harris's presidential campaign trolled former President Donald Trump on his own social media platform. The campaign official Kamala HQ page posted a comparison between two rallies, Trump and Harris. Harris rally versus Donald Trump rally, same arena in Philly. And this is her. The whole thing is filled up. The whole thing filled up there. And then this is Trump's rally, and there's a ton of seats that are not full. But this dude's, and again, why is that? Why is that? Because in people's hearts, they feel that he is not going to win. And because they feel he's not going to win, there's just not as much motivation there. And Trump knows this. He knows it. That's why he's doing such a bad look at this. This is Trump's on the left. Hold on. Can y'all see this? Yeah, you can. This is Trump's on the left. And this is Kamala's. What does this say, man? Again, it's about these things are trending like this. It's not like this is a one-off, like, well, there's a few polls that Kamala's winning in. No. All of them she's winning in. And stuff like this. It's trending in this direction. But yeah, no, keep on doing stuff like that. Keep disarming these people. Like let's see. Boom. Let me see. I'm trying to find this one post. Hold on, we'll get to it. We'll open it eventually. I got a bunch of stuff pulled up. Now we got some clips from Mr. JD. All right. JD Vance accuses Tim Walz, who served 24 years in the National Guard, of stolen valor. Don't pretend to be something you're not.
Suggested that because of your Ivy League education and your Silicon backing your political career, that you yourself are part of the elite. What are your first impressions of them trying to frame you this way to the American public?
Well, look, I came from a family where nobody in my family had ever gone to law school. I grew up in a poor family. The fact that Tim Walz wants to turn it into a bad thing, that I actually worked myself through college, through law school, and made some.
In regards to that, Mike Boy, I think we'll definitely see her doing more of that, especially now that Tim Walz is on the ticket, because he's such an effective communicator. Um, but yeah, no, I think I think we'll definitely see a lot more of that.
Something myself. To me, that's the American dream. And if Tim Walz wants to insult it, I think that's
Especially, again, especially after they get across the finish line. I think that that'll probably be like how it's set up. I think, because Tim Walz, without a doubt, he's going to be seen and heard a whole lot for sure.
that's frankly pretty bizarre. Now, look, what really bothers me about Tim Walz, it's not even the positions that he's taken, though certainly he has been a far left radical. You know what really bothers me about Tim Walz as a Marine who served his country in uniform? When the United States Marine Corps, when the United States of America asked me to go to Iraq to serve my country, I did it. I did what they asked me to do it, and I did it honorably, and I'm very proud of that service. When Tim Walz was asked by his country to go to Iraq, you know what he did? He dropped out of the Army and allowed his unit to go without him, a fact that he's been criticized for aggressively by a lot of the people that he served with. I think it's shameful to prepare your unit to go to Iraq, to make a promise that you're going to follow.
He's so bad at this shit. No, like this isn't going to sway anybody. The dude served for 24 years.
Through and then to drop out right before you actually have to go. I also think it's dishonest. Something, again, if you guys ever get an opportunity to ask.
Oh, he is going to get ate the fuck up when he debates Tim Walz. It might be one of the worst beatdowns we've ever seen in our lives. Like, seriously.
Ask Tim Walz or Kamala Harris some questions. He made this interesting comment that the Kamala Harris campaign put out there, and I bet they're regretting they put it out there now, because he said that and he was making a point about gun control. He said we shouldn't allow weapons that I used in war to be on America's streets. Well, I wonder, Tim Walz, when were you ever in war? When was this? What was this weapon that you?
He's so bad at this. Ooh, he's gonna get ate up.
Carried into war, given that you abandoned your unit right before they went to Iraq, and he has not spent a day in a combat zone. What bothers me about Tim Walz is the stolen valor garbage. Do not pretend to be something that you're not. And if he wants to,
I don't know if you know, but overall, Americans are not that gung ho about war, especially not recently. Since with the whole Iraq and Afghanistan stuff, and everything going on over in Gaza right now. Like Americans aren't really. We're not gung ho about that. So I don't really know what your line of attack there is. Speaking of Pence, Mike Pence was a much better VP pick than JD Vance. Again, because he actually had done stuff in his career up to that point. And JD Vance has done things, but not politically. He's written a book and he did successful with that, but politically, he ain't done nothing. All right. Moving on. What we got now? Elon Musk's daughter slams dad as serial adulterer, stupid and desperate. Elon Musk's daughter, Vivian Wilson, has criticized her billionaire father on social media, labeling him a serial adulterer. Wilson took to Threads to call the Tesla and SpaceX CEO a serial adulterer who is stupid, desperate, and not a family man. She posted the comments alongside a screenshot of an X post in which Musk appears to be praising his own parenting. Quote, "It seems to me like you're trying to rebuild your brand image as the caring paternal father, which I will not let go unchallenged." Ooh. Wilson wrote on Tuesday, "Damn, she is not playing with you, Elon." Quote, "If I'm going to be honest, this is absolutely pathetic. You just won't stop lying about me in interviews, books, social media, etc. Thank God you're absolutely terrible at it, because otherwise this would be significantly more difficult." And she's only 20 and she's eating him up like this. She is eating him alive. Wilson, 20, is one of Elon's oldest living children. Her mother is Justine Wilson, a Canadian author and Musk's first wife. Quote, "I understand your new angle is this Western values / Christian family man thing, but it's such a weird choice," she continued. "You are not a family man. You are a serial adulterer who won't stop fucking lying about your own children. You are not a Christian. As far as I'm aware, you've never stepped foot in a church. Elon Musk is just he's very wealthy, but he's just a massive piece of shit. And he's a fraud. His whole story is a lie. In interviews on social media, Musk has said Wilson is, quote, not a girl and was killed by the woke mind virus. Yeah, he just did that. And then she said, quote, I think he was under the assumption that I wasn't going to say anything and I would just let this go unchallenged, Wilson told the outlet, which I'm not going to do. Because if you're going to lie about me, like blatantly to an audience of millions, I'm not just going to let that slide. He was cold, Wilson said of Musk. He's very quick to anger. He is uncaring and narcissistic. Elon Musk angry would only be scary because of how much money he has. But other than that, Elon Musk angry would be hilarious. That would be quite funny. All right, well, let's see. Hold on. All right, now more of Tim Walz quickly becoming America's uncle. Quickly becoming America's uncle. But yeah, no, Elon Musk is I've always not liked him at all. I've always not liked him. Even before he started going down this weirdo right-wing path. He was a fraud. Like and I didn't like him because of that. It's like, oh, you look into this guy's backstory and he just steals people's valor and he steals people's credit and pretends to be things that he isn't. And when you actually look at his big brained ideas, most of them are really bad. Like his idea of basically letting people travel around the world via rocket ships. Like rockets have, I think, a one in 100 chance of exploding, which means one out of every 100 rocket that went up would explode. The amount of fuel it costs for rockets, the amount of noise that rockets make. Ideas like that. If you think about for 5 seconds, you're like, oh, I don't know about this. But Elon Musk is, of course, an idiot who got lucky. People are making dad jokes about Tim Walz, and they are way, way funnier than they should be. Again, people like him. The best pick. This is absolutely the best pick that Kamala could have chosen. Here we got Tim Walz. He passed it. He posted this. He posted, for the past few years, I have not seen a turkey while hunting. Today they mock me. And there's all these turkeys out. I guess that's his yard or neighborhood. This is why Tim Walz is the guy. Our next vice president needs to bring this kind of dorky dad energy to the ticket. He brings everything to the ticket. This dude is like a cartoon character of everything that we need right now. You know what I'm saying? It like the dorky dad energy, but he's also he's tough. You feel me? Like he don't take shit and he'll give it to you. He's got all of that. Yes, exactly. Good pointing that out. That one of his rockets failed 3 times in a row. Yeah, strapping people to rockets is not a good idea. It's just not a good idea. But again, those are the types of ideas that Elon Musk would have. And people, oh, he's so brilliant. Not really. Not really. Tim Walz points the stud find. Hold on, what? Tim Walz points the stud finder at himself and says, "Well, look like it's working," before putting up a shelf. Every dad makes this face when he's about to rip off a banger. Oh yeah, this is when he was like, if he wants to get off the couch, and he was like, "You see what I did there?" after he said if JD Vance is willing to get off the couch to come debate him, he was like, "You see what I did there?" Brought us over to X. Hold on. Hold on. Yeah, we just gonna hold on. My real concern with Governor Tim Walz is that he seems like the kind of guy, if you leave your car unlocked in the summer, he's going to leave you 6 zucchinis on your front seat. Or I thought he was going to say something like, if you leave your car unlocked, you'll wake up and he's like working on it and fixing it for you. Walz is doing all the Midwest dad classics, including, I got to tell you, I got to tell you, that's not what middle America is. Mind your own damn business. Tim Walz definitely bringing green bean casserole to the convention. Walz has the vibes of a man who makes short, helpful videos on how to fix garbage disposals in his spare time. Yes, exactly. He seems like one of those guys. He just knows how to fix everything. If anything in the house or on the property is broken, then he knows how to fix it. He's definitely got that going for him. See, there you go, Libby. Your Uncle Buck, Midwest dad best. He's got it on lock, man. No one, not a soul. Tim Walz on a car trip when he hears the Chex Mix bag open in the back seat. Tim Walz 1000% says, "What's the damage?" when the waiter hands him the check. Yeah, man, Tim Walz is the man. He's that dude. And here's you know what when he hold on, let me open this up. To the next page. Bam. Yes, exactly. He took what was it, a team that was 0-27, and in 3 years took them turned them into state champions. He's the most relatable dude ever, man. Ever. He was specifically made for this moment. And here he is. This is what I was talking about. He was like, "You see what I did there?"
And I got to tell you, I can't wait to debate the guy. That is, if he's willing to get off the couch and show up. So, you see what I did there?
You see what I did there? He's just cool. He's just cool. He's just a cool ass dude. Even the way he keeps scratching his head, like it just makes him seem relatable. Like he's comfortable, but he's still a guy from a small town. He keeps scratching his head because he's just a normal guy doing the stuff to get the anxious jitters out. You know what I'm saying? How can you not like this man? He's much more likable than me. I'm a pretty likable person, but sometimes not so much. Sometimes I'm a little much. You feel me? Tim Walz he's just a much more likable guy than myself. You feel me? Like I love him, man. I really like him. And then you get into stuff like this, is I don't know if y'all saw, but he released his financial disclosures. Walz owns no stock, securities, or real estate per disclosures. What is this? This is this particular one right here. It was a NPR PBS News Marist poll. Again, she's up in all the polls. Some of them she's up by like 11, which of course are, a bit of an outlier for the 11 plus point. But still, she's up in all of them. It's trending her way, and it's going to keep going that way. And one of the biggest reasons, again, it's like, yeah, they still gotta finish the race. They still gotta do what they need to do. But one of the biggest reasons why there's really, we got Jen Hack in the building. What's going on? Good to have you here. But one of the biggest reasons there's really not that much else to look for is because we've been watching Trump for the last 10 years and almost 10 years in our political system. He was already president. He lost in 2020. And then Republicans have been taking L's, for a lot of reasons, but primarily for the reversal of Roe v. Wade. So, like, what else is there to see? Like, what is Trump going to do all of a sudden that we haven't seen before? Nothing. Which honestly is why Republicans should have went with another candidate. But hey, it is what it is. Um, but but yeah, there's nothing else to see. Donald Trump isn't going to come up with anything new. There's not going to be some new grand strat. It's not happening because we've seen him for 10 years. You know, he's not some guy that we don't know. Most elected officials tend to have considerably more financial investments. Walt's only investment comes from pensions, including from his past time as a teacher. He taught social studies for years before first running for Congress in 2006. Waltz and his, I'm reading it backwards. Waltz and his wife, Gwen, do not own their home, having reportedly sold their house in Mankato, Minnesota in 2019. The first year of his time as governor, they moved into the governor's mansion. And that's where they live now. That's their only house. I mean, yeah, so again, they can't come after him like, "Oh, he's corrupt." Like, my man's only owns pensions. He got pensions, but he doesn't he ain't got no stocks. So the oh, he's corrupt. That's not going to work. It's almost time to get to our favorite person ever. Okay, we already looked at this. We don't need to hear more of that. Is this Doug? Yeah, that's Doug Burgum. Speaking of Doug Burgum, Trump probably should have chosen him. Probably. Davina, thank you so much for the $10 super chat. He said, "Love watching, always sexy and entertaining." Well, thank you. I do my best. Speaking of sexy, you know what I'm saying? After this stream, which we're having a fantastic time doing. After this stream, I'm gonna go get my workout on. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna do my thing a little bit. You know, I'm gonna go for a run and do some sit-ups and push-ups. And next week, I'm gonna join a gym. I'm gonna start pumping some iron, bro. And then like 2 weeks after that, I'm gonna get back into boxing. You know what I'm saying? So we got big plans. But thank you so much for the $10 super chat. Thank you for tuning in. Because we're having a blast. We are having a great time. And I hope y'all like my new office space. You know what I'm saying? I got a nice little office in here. I got a cozy little chair over to the side. I got my baby booties, my baby shoes right there. I got a really, really cool DC poster that has like all the people on it, even some people from The Watchmen. It's nice. It's nice. All right. Let's see. Okay, here we go. Yeah, I'm gonna have to get me this double. I'm gonna have to get 2 screens. It's just easier. I've been moving pretty fast. Yes, Davina, you got to be careful. You got to be careful. My head is already massively large, so you know it may explode. All right. Yes, my baby booties. Well, let me show you. Let me show you my baby booties real quick. The cats, Fritz, the cats are not in here because they would be just getting in the way as cats do, because that's what cats do. Let's see. Check this out. Check it out. My baby booties. You see? My Nikes. I was a fresh baby. You know what I'm saying? I was fresh. I was so fresh and so clean as young little Jack. And I grew up and I'm even more fresh and clean now. You know what I'm saying? I should hang these so that they're like hanging while I'm talking, but I want to kick myself in the head. But you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? You said the ring light reflection. Well, if I sit right here, we'll be good. I'll keep all of that in mind, though. I'll try to minimize the reflection, but let me put the booties back, and then we're gonna continue. Don't touch my booties. All right. Exactly, same shit. You know what I'm saying? Like you start off as you come into this world too fresh and too clean, and the next thing you know, it's the same old shit 10 years later. You said wrestling moves. See, Mike Boy, my man's Mike Boy can fight. You know what I'm saying? If me and Mike Boy ever had some issues, he would go straight for the legs. I already know what you're gonna do, and it would work too because I can't wrestle. I can box, but I can't wrestle. I'll be the first to admit. So if he grabs my legs, it's pretty much a wrap. But you better not let me hit you. You know what I'm saying? So there we go. We gonna have to find out one day. You have to teach me how to wrestle when I start coming to Cali, because I definitely would like to learn. As I get back into boxing, I would love to learn other combat styles for sure. Wrestling being one of the main ones that I'd like to get into. CNN's John Berman shuts down Trump allies' attack on Kamala Harris VP pick with one question.
As a neighbor of Minnesota, we share.
Trump should have went with this dude, man, because apparently he was gonna go with him. He just would have been a better pick. There wouldn't have been any controversy around him at all, especially not compared to JD Vance. Again, he's the governor of North Dakota. He's older, he's more seasoned. He just brings more to the ticket. He just does. Even so JD Vance was just a horrible choice. Trump should have picked him.
About a 225-mile border with Minnesota. I can tell you that Minnesota is the California of the Midwest, and that's just not a soundbite. When you look at the energy policies of that state, they're on the same track, adopting California EV standards, trying to eliminate internal combustion cars, passing laws that Tim has signed that basically say we're going to get rid of base load electricity if it doesn't come from these intermittent sources of wind and solar. And so it is, they're on a path there where they're driving energy costs up.
He really did. No, he seriously did, Teddy. Because again, like, Mike Pence was a significantly better pick than JD Vance. Yeah, because look at what he had done with his career. Mike Pence had a political career to speak of. Even if, clearly we're not on board with pretty much any you said every now and then lined up. Oh yeah, when I'm like this, yeah, there you go. Yeah, if I get over here, yeah, that's perfect right there. And then let me pull my hair down like this, so I got my cowl on, I got my cape and my cowl, and then I got the bat ears going for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just need a mask. But yeah, again, even though we're absolutely not in favor of Mike Pence's policies, he had decades of political experience. He had a record to speak of. He had something to stand on. JD Vance has nothing to stand on. Yes, he balanced out Trump's sins, exactly. And I think Doug Burgum would have been kind of similar to Pence in a sense of, like, again, no real controversy, because Pence, other than the positions that he stood for, there really wasn't any controversy around him. Like, he didn't get into trouble. Like, he didn't make goofy, ridiculous comments, like in a sense of like, childless people are worthless. If you noticed, everybody who's tripping, they probably don't have kids. Exactly. Mike Pence actually brought something to the ticket. JD Vance doesn't bring anything to the ticket. He might as well have hired my ass to be vice president. I'm not old enough for that. You got to be 34. But he might as well have hired me, because I have no experience in office. You know what I'm saying? Like, what would someone like me? Someone like me would be like, if I'm gonna run for office, I need to look much lower, like city council or some shit like that. Maybe right now I wouldn't be mayor of St. Louis. Are you serious? Or you city or whatever. But yeah, like, might as well ask me to be your damn vice president.
Which is a huge tax on working class people and affordability. At the end of the day, this election is going to be between Trump and Harris. 90 days from now is when the election is coming. The honeymoon period of just talking and fawning over the bios is going to go away, and this election is going to.
No, it's not. No, it's not. And even at that, this is a horrible strategy. It's gonna go away. Not in 90 days. It's not. No, it ain't. No, because who else is there to choose from? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not gonna happen, and they know it's not gonna happen. Now, if we had a year until the election, yeah, city council is a good one, and also, man, city council is so much more responsible for almost everything that happens in your backyard. yeah, again, the enthusiasm around Harris and Walz isn't going to disappear in 90 days. That's not happening. It's not. So I just this, these people are done. They're done. Like, what kind of a strategy is this? Well, we hope that the enthusiasm leaves. Well, good luck with that, because it ain't.
Going to be about
The enthusiasm will leave maybe in 2 years. You know what I'm saying? Like in 2 or 3 years, then the enthusiasm will be gone. But even at that, if she becomes the first woman president of the country, what? Get out of here. And then, like I said, look, it's my personal belief. It's my personal belief, and I could be totally wrong. We'll have to find out. But it's my personal belief that Kamala Harris is going to have the most progressive presidency that of any of our lifetimes. Let me explain why. So we go from Obama to Joe Biden. Joe Biden tangibly and legitimately had a more progressive, in 4 years, he got more done than Obama did. And we can talk about why, whether it be money or, they didn't let Obama do anything because he's a black man. Doesn't matter. Joe Biden had a more progressive presidency than did Barack Obama. And let's not forget, now there's plenty of things wrong with the Affordable Care Act, right? But before Obama was in office and before the Affordable Care Act came into existence, if you had pre-existing conditions, that was it. You just had to die in debt. He got into office. Our healthcare system is significantly better than it was before that. Progress has been made. You know what I'm saying? Like, obviously not as much as we'd like, not as much as we want to see, but it has been made. And then Joe Biden, he got in there and had a more progressive presidency. Now, here's why I believe Kamala Harris can have an even more progressive presidency. It's not necessarily because in her heart she's a progressive. It's because she has so much to gain from it for her legacy and her career. She has more to gain. Okay, look, as the first woman president, if she gets in there, let's say, like her and Tim Walz, they're both pro marijuana legalization. Let's say, if the Democrats have the House and the Senate, Chuck Schumer wants to legalize marijuana. Chuck Schumer been wanting to legalize weed for years. You give Kamala and Tim Walz the House and the Senate, something like marijuana legalization can happen. And not just that. Think about what that's going to do, again, for her brand and her legacy. Not only am I the first woman president, I got this done for y'all. I got that done for y'all, that and this. That is much more appealing to your legacy than just, I'm just going to do what the donors want. Now, what I'm not saying is that Kamala is going to do everything we'd like her to see, but I'm pretty confident that she's going to do a whole lot more than any of us have ever seen, on top of the fact that it's our job to push her in that direction. It's our job as the constituency to push her that way. So I believe exactly for promise. And that's what I'm seeing. You know what I'm saying? Think about how much she really has to gain. And we need to take advantage of that. We need to sell her the dream. Sell this woman the dream. You know what I'm saying? Sell her the dream. So we have a lot to work with, and she has a hell of a lot to gain. She has more to gain than anyone we've ever seen before. So, I'm hopeful, especially now that we got Tim Walz on the ticket. Let's have hope, and let's play our part and push her into the right direction. But again, obviously I could be wrong, but I don't think so. I don't think so. So let's keep taking it a day at a time. But again, do keep in mind, yeah, we haven't gotten everything we've wanted, but progress has been made. So let's make more progress. Let's do it.
About inflation, the border, our wars overseas, and those are the issues where Trump is strong and Harris is weak.
Did you know that when he was in Congress, Tim Walz voted for the Keystone Pipeline?
Yes, but he certainly has changed as governor. I mean, he has signed into law and supported every liberal progressive policy that Minnesota's had the last 4 years, and I think it's part of the reason why Bernie Sanders liked him, and it's part of the reason why Harris picked him, because
he should have went with Doug Burgum. I'm literally struggling to even listen to this man right now. I'm bored. I'm very bored. But again, that probably would have done Trump's campaign a whole lot better than JD Vance. It would be better to have a man that you like, I don't really want to listen to this dude, compared to compared to what we got with JD Vance. You know what I'm saying? So where we at now? We still got a variety of things because we still got to get into you know, our favorite our favorite Missouri candidate. I don't know if y'all know who I'm talking about. We've been talking about her for a couple of days, but she lost really bad here in Missouri, and we're gonna talk about it. She got her brother fired as well. She got her brother fired. All right. Well, from what I saw, his son's convinced, but I don't know. I mean, I don't know how true that is. At the end of the day, Trump made the decision, so you know the buck stops with him. You can't really. I don't think it's really all that legit to be like, oh, it's because of his son. It's like, no, it's because of you. You're the one who chose it. You know what I'm saying? All right, Trump. We're going to talk about Cori Bush. I talked about her a little bit when we first started that. We're going to talk about her because she lost her primary, but I was actually referring to Valentina Gomez, who ran the most anti-gay campaign anyone has ever seen. It's so anti-gay, it's funny. Like you can't do anything but roll your eyes and laugh at it because it's like, are you serious? Really? This woman's campaign slogan was literally "Don't be weak and gay." What? What? Huh? Like you can't even really. I mean, yeah, that's hard to really get offended by because it's like, huh? Yeah, she got smoked. It was like she got thrashed. We're gonna talk about that in a second. Yes, it was sixth. It was sixth place. But we're gonna talk about in a sec. Um, and this is what I was talking about. Now he's calling her Kamabla. Like, dude, shut up, man. Like, what are the chances that crooked Joe Biden, the worst president in the history of the U.S., whose presidency was unconstitutionally stolen from him by Kamabla, Barack Hussein Obama, crazy Nancy Pelosi, shifty Adam Schiff, crying Chuck Schumer, like this shit is just it's not it doesn't have the same impact that it used to, man. This is just stupid. And others on the lunatic left crashes the Democrat National Convention and tries to take back the nomination, beginning with challenging me to another debate. And for whatever reason, he put debate in all caps. I don't, you know. He feels that he made a historically tragic mistake by handing over the U.S. presidency, a coup, to the people in the world he most hates, and he wants it back. So Donald Trump is fantasizing about Kamala saying, "Oh, never mind," and basically what this is he is publicly telling everyone that he's going to lose this election. That's essentially what he just said. He basically just said, I am going to lose to Kamala Harris, and it will be so lovely if Joe Biden could join the fray once again, but that's not going to happen. And then this, you know, he capitalizes Hussein because, you know, what does that indicate? Oh, Barack Obama's not an American. Look at what his middle name is. All right. All right, let's get into this idiot now. Let's get into Valentina Gomez. Yeah, exactly. They just weird now. They don't have the same impact because now it's again when you really it's like, man, America. Let's just move on from this guy, please. And it's looking like that's what we're gonna do, especially with the way that they're campaigning. And like every day, they you know, whether between Trump and JD, it's like, how can I shoot my foot? How can I shoot myself in the foot today? Yes, exactly. Barack Saddam Obama. You know what I'm saying? Barack Habibi Obama. Habibi. That's what they should start calling Obama from now on. Just Habibi. Oh my God. This is hilarious. But yeah, this woman is, and like I said about her yesterday, little does she know that she has literally her professional life is done. It's done. She's never ever going to be able to do anything significant. And and she's only 25. And like, when you're that, people always can grow and learn, but when you're 25, you you're 5 years away from being 30. And at 30, you're basically just now becoming a real adult in the modern world. You know what I mean? So it's just like you have completely destroyed your career by the tender age of 25. You haven't even made it to 30 yet, and you're done. And she ruined her brother's career too. And again, there you see what that says. Her campaign slogan was "Don't be weak and gay," and she would just roll out the F slur like it was nothing. And it's like, look, first and foremost, lady, you're not, you before we get to the ethnicity, you're 25 and you're running for Secretary of State. That you even if you were beloved by Republicans, no one's going to elect a 25-year-old to be in a position that is that important. It's not happening. It's just not. So then that's the most mild criticism of her. Like, maybe you should run for city council and not this. Someone who's going to be Secretary of State is probably at least in their 50s, at least. So but then you're Mexican and you have a heavy accent, which means that you weren't born in this country. That's what that means. And you're running as a Republican in Missouri. And it's ridiculous. And then again, her campaign was so like cartoonishly bigoted that like it was even too much for Republicans. It's like, okay, lady. All right. Valentina Gomez, who okay, so she says she made "Don't be weak and gay" a slogan of her campaign. She called LGBTQ people groomers and pedophiles. And the way she says it again, groomers and pedophiles. What she said, pedophile politicians. When she said pedophile politicians, she pedophile politicians. Like, girl, you learned English recently, and you sitting up here, and then I saw videos of her talking about only American citizens are gonna be allowed to vote. Like, girl, you're barely an American citizen, and that shit kills me because it's like, do you people who like, you know what I'm saying? People who like whether it's Latinos for Trump or Black Republicans who like drink the Kool-Aid too much. It's like, do you look in the mirror often? Do you hear what you sound like when you open your mouth? Like, for a Mexican woman who has a thick accent to be talking about, we got to get rid of these illegals. Like, how do you not see the irony in that? You're one wrong administration away from being kicked out of this country. It's just ridiculous. Yes, she came in 6th place out of 8 candidates. She came in 6th place. And honestly, out of all the candidates who ran in that race, she was easily the most famous. You know what I'm saying? Like, people around the country, not necessarily everybody, but a lot of people around the country had gotten whiff of her. So you had all of this additional exposure and you still couldn't clear. You came in 6th place. With 99% of votes counted this morning, the Kansas City Star posted Gomez got 47,931 votes, or just 7.5% in the primary yesterday. In a video after the polls closed, but before the votes were counted, Gomez claimed that her campaign had locked up pedophiles, saved children, stood up to tyrants and corrupt politicians, and I would do it 1,000 times again. How did your campaign do that? And how have you done all of these things by the 10? You're only 25. How did you do these things already? And of course, even though she hates gay people, of course she's gonna bring out, she's gonna start talking about God, of course. Look, eh, just because but just because people talk about God does not mean that they believe it. Well, apparently God didn't qualify you. Apparently not. Apparently God didn't think that you were worthy. Again, she got national attention for this shit. And this was the video she put. In America, you can be anything you want. So don't be weak and gay. Stay fucking hard. That's exactly how she said it. And she was like running. And again, no one cares that she has an accent, but it's worth talking about because you're running as a Republican in Missouri and you think that these people are going to support you? No. No. And you just found that out. And not only did you find that out, again, like I said, all the national attention she got for this shit, she's permanently stunted her career path. She's never going to be able to amount to anything that she would have otherwise because people are going to remember, oh yeah, aren't you? Oh yeah, that's you. That's you. No, thank you. Next. That's exactly how it's going to go. You said you can't get very good cosmetic surgery in Bumblefuck. Mike boy. Now we got what's the name? What's this dude's name? Tim Miller or something? Stephen Miller, sorry. Former Donald Trump senior advisor, Stephen Miller, who's a massive idiot, made baseless claims about Minnesota Governor Tim Walz's record on immigration during an interview with Fox News Tuesday. He's the biggest booster in the whole country for unlimited refugee resettlement. Miller, who helped to shape the Trump's administration immigration policy, said, that means under the Harris-Walz plan, they're going to turn the entire Midwest into Mogadishu.
He is the biggest booster in the whole country.
I was right on the money. He's the biggest booster in the whole country.
He is the biggest booster in the whole country for unlimited refugee resettlement. That means under the Harris-Walz plan, they're going to turn the entire Midwest into Mogadishu. That's their plan. That's their policy. I don't think there's a market for that in the United States of America.
He's such a loser. And his own family has disowned him. Like, yeah, we didn't raise him like this. I don't know where the hell this came from with your bald-headed ass. Dude, get out of here, man. No shade to bald people, but these guys think they're the epitome of masculinity. And Tim Walz has more hair than you do, and he's 60. So speaking of Tim Walz, you know what I'm saying? Exactly. It makes you lose. Racism and fascism makes you lose all your hair prematurely. I think Steve. I'm about to see how old he is. I don't think he's that much older than me. I'm 32. Let's see. Let's look it up. He's 38. He's only 38. All right. Now, gay student says coach Tim Walz protected him from homophobic bullies. Is there a video? Okay, I think this is all right. We'll watch that in a sec. While introducing Minnesota Governor Tim Walz as her running mate to a rally audience of 14,000 in Philadelphia yesterday evening, Vice President Kamala Harris noted that while working as a high school teacher and football coach back in 1999, Walz advised the school's first gay-straight alliance, the GSA, to help LGBTQ. I like to say gay or queer because LGBTQ plus, it's such a mouthful. I don't think any of you are really going to be upset with me about it. I'm just going to say to help queer students, because to help queer students, making the school a safe place for everybody, Harris said. At the rally, Harris noted that Walz worked for a decade as a social studies teacher and football coach at Mankato West High School. During his time there, he helped the winless football team win a state championship. Harris said using football to teach his players life lessons. But Tim wasn't only a role model on the football field, Harris said. Quote, around that same time, Coach Walz was approached by a student in his social studies class. The young man was one of the first openly gay students at the school and was hoping to start a gay-straight alliance at the time. At a time when acceptance was difficult to find for queer students, for LGBTQ students, whatever, however you want to say it, Harris said, I'm kind of making fun because this is just, it's very liberal. Like when liberals are like Latinx, like Spanish people don't say Latinx, like white liberals say that. So unless y'all want me to say LGBTQ, I might not say it every time because it's a bit of a mouthful. They added the plus and the I. Oh, we got to add more letters to it. Like, do we really need to? I guess we can, but I don't know. All right, here we go. So he signed up to the group's faculty advisor, and as students have said, he made the school a safe place for everybody. Okay, let's check this out.
I had students come to me who were concerned that there was an uptick in some bullying towards our gay and lesbian students. And this is in the mid-90s. They asked if I would be interested in helping start a gay-straight alliance group. My answer was absolutely. And I recognized my responsibility in that. You have an older, white, straight, married male football coach who's deeply concerned that these students are treated fairly and that there's no bullying. And the idea that my players would be interested in coming to that and learn and to speak, to create a culture in a school that was welcoming, open, and understanding was something Gwen and I always strove for.
Oh, there we go. Monk said, he said, I have to apply for my own specialty alphabet letter and symbol. All right. But yeah, like you said, man, he was based even in the 90s. Okay, we got more of JD Vance, but honestly, I really don't. I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it. We can move on from that. And I still got a bit of stuff pulled up. And I got to go for a run, and I don't want it to get too late. Now we got half of voters say Trump, who is 78, is too old to run as president as his age limit hits the spotlight. Some new polls. Where is this? Hold up. All right, let's check this out. We got a CNN anchor sparring with a Trump ally about Walz's popularity. Let's check it out. Let's check it out.
All right, joining me now, House Majority Whip, Republican Congressman Tom Emmer of Minnesota. Thank you, sir, for coming in this morning. Just, my curiosity, because you're hearing this from Donald Trump, and these are some of the attack lines that we expect to see. What do you make of Tim Walz's first rally after being chosen as Kamala Harris's vice presidential running mate?
Well, Tim is a great talker. And by the way,
well, Mike Boy, actually today, it's not super hot. Today, actually, I think it might just be like 80 outside, and I don't think it's sunny either. Yeah, it's 80 degrees and cloudy outside. So today it's not super hot. I just like running when it's super hot because it's so much harder. Like, it just gets you in better shape. I guess I'm a bit of a crazy person too, but I don't know. It's just something about it. I don't know. It just, I guess for the challenge. I don't know. But yeah, it's only 80 and cloudy. But yeah, now any day where it's like 90 plus degrees. Oh yes. Oh yeah. Count me in. If it's 93 degrees and humid as hell outside, count me into the marathon, baby. Let's go ahead and do it. But yeah, no, it just gets you it just gets you in better shape faster. And then like once you get used to running in the super hot, then when it cools down, it's like, man, this is easy. But you got to be careful.
By the way, Sarah, thanks for having me.
When you get tired, stop. Like when it's hot as hell outside and you're like, stop running and have some water.
Tim's a great talker, but you got to look at his actions. I mean, in fact, this guy who tries to come across as the affable Midwesterner is a left-wing radical who, under his failed leadership in just 6 short years in my state of Minnesota, we've seen taxes skyrocket. We've seen violent crime at record highs, and Minnesota families are worse off. Literally, he is incredibly pulling the ticket to the far left.
You tweeted this about Tim Walz, saying that he turned Minnesota.
Man, Tim Walz, while he's a progressive, it's just not accurate to say that, oh, he's far left. Like, he isn't. What are you talking about? Feeding children is that's a little too progressive. I don't know about that. Fuck your kids.
Into a liberal wasteland. So I guess the question is, why do you think Minnesotans reelected Tim Walz as their governor for a second term in 2022?
Because they're stupid.
Bottom line is, this is a guy who billed Minnesotans an additional $8 billion in new taxes and fees after blowing through.
He's not answering the question. She said, why did people reelect him? Oh, because he sucks. Because he fucking sucks. That's why they reelected him.
$17.5 billion in surplus. He has now put our state on a path to economic disaster. This is a guy who,
Congressman,
you guys got to investigate feeding our...
Answer the question. Oh, speaking of, I'm going to be on Friday. I'm going to be on Indisputable, and I'm going to be on the Power Panel. So you can check me out 2 times on Friday on TYT.
Congressman, do me a favor and answer the question. Why do you think Minnesotans reelected him with all the things that you're saying about him that are negative, and attacking some of the things that he has done policy-wise, not personality-wise, because you agree that he's got a pretty...
I don't know if G been spying on me, but he just revealed my biggest secret. I am indeed a vampire. That is exactly what I am. And I have the magic sauce that allows me to walk around in the daylight. I am Blade. You know what I'm saying?
Big and affable personality. But why do you think Minnesotans seem to disagree with you about what he has done in their state?
Because they're stupid.
Well, you need to come to Minnesota. Tim Walz is finally going to be exposed.
The election results tell you something,
Tim Walz
don't they?
has been given a sweetheart, much like Kamala Harris, Sarah. The media, the mainstream media, gives these people
They're going to lose. I don't even want to finish watching the rest of it. It's over. Donald Trump's going to fucking lose. Because look at what they're doing. Not only because things are clearly trending in Kamala's favor, but look at them. Look at this. Come on, man. Tim Walz. He may be my favorite politician now. Yeah, man. Dr. Richie, he's something. Dr. Richie's he's special. He really is. He's one of a kind. He's a much better person than I am. I don't consider myself to be a bad person, but he's just a hell of a guy. Really good guy. Tim Walz burns ex-president in stirring speech. Crime was up under Donald Trump. That's not even counting the crimes he committed. Man, this dude, he got it. He just got it in the bag.
Proud of the work we did there together. I worked across the aisle on veterans issues, on agriculture, and on ways to grow rural economies. I learned the art of compromise without compromising my values.
Hey.
And now, as governor of the great state of Minnesota, I bring those experiences to bear in tackling the challenges that are facing our great state. Minnesota's strength comes from our values, our commitment to working together, to seeing past our differences, to always being willing to lend a helping hand. Those are the same values I learned on the family farm and tried to instill in my students. I took it to Congress and to the state capitol, and now Vice President Harris and I are running to take those very values to the White House. Now, Donald Trump sees the world a little differently than us. First of all, he doesn't know the first thing about service. He doesn't have time for it because he's too busy serving himself. Again and again and again, Trump weakens our economy to strengthen his own hand.
Hey.
He mocks our laws. He sows chaos and division. And that's to say nothing of his record as president. He froze in the face of the COVID crisis. He drove our economy into the ground. And make no mistake, violent crime was up under Donald Trump. That's not even counting the crimes he committed.
Hey. Yeah, man, like what the perfect man for the moment. I mean, this guy, you know, is simultaneously a sweetheart, a caring man, but also he don't take no shit. He'll bring it to you, and he'll make fun of you, and it's funny when he does, you know. So I mean, it's just, oh, do we need to look at this Fox News? That more of Tarlov. Oh yeah, let's look at Tarlov talking. Let's look at Tarlov talking about Walz. Let's see. Fox News hosts schools panel on Walz's record, something Vance wishes he were. And again, one of the biggest things, because as soon as I saw, I was like, Vance was like, Tim Walz's record is a joke. Like, dude, JD Vance, he does not have a political record. He's been in office for a few years, and nothing happens in the Senate. Nothing happens in the Senate. Like, dude, you've done nothing. It'd be like, it would be better if say, so if Doug Burgum were to say, if Doug Burgum or Mike Pence were to say, Tim Walz's record is a joke, at least Mike Pence and Doug Burgum have a political record. At least they have one that they could compare and contrast to their audience legitimately. You know what I'm saying? That they could have they could have been like, well, my record is a conservative governor. I did this and I did that. You see what I'm saying? Like, at least they would have something to go tit for tat on. JD Vance ain't got nothing to go tit for tat on. He has nothing to say. So it's just completely ineffective. You said Trump should have gone with, yeah, he should have went with Tromala. Exactly. Don't give him ideas though. Don't give him any ideas. Although I'm pretty sure Trump is not watching us right now. But yeah, what did he say? He called her Kamabla. Like, dude, what?
And that Governor Walz brings a lot of experience that she wanted on the ticket, not only his time in Congress, where he was, I think, the 7th most conservative Democrat in the House, you know, someone who is a gun owner, someone who does
and Pops.
Western values, but his executive experience in Minnesota. And I've seen, and Jesse just radiated some of them, the attacks on him as a socialist. I don't know what kind of socialist runs the number 6 best state in America for big business. Target is there for a reason. 3M is there for a reason. United Healthcare is there for a reason. General Mills is there for a reason.
Again, you know, like if it was legit, like if you want to say, oh, this person's really far to the left, and they would be talking about like handing the means of production to the working class. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody owns everything. Ain't nobody talking about that. You feel me? That would be an accurate representation of someone who's really far to the left. If they're like, you know what? I don't really think that people should be able to own as many things as they do. That's far to the left, but no one's talking about that because at the end of the day, we live in America, and America is not a socialist country. It's a mixed economy, but overall, it's a capitalist economy. And like, there's really not much any of us can do about that. Like, if there's nobody really can change that. Like, we can implement, you know, like for instance, we can expand Medicare. We can we can add different types of programs and benefit programs, social programs, but no one really can change the fact that this is a capitalist country. So it's just it's stupid when these people say this type of stuff.
And the kinds of things that he has gotten passed are exactly the kinds of things that Kamala Harris wants to talk about. Things like paid sick leave, $2.3 billion into public schools. He did a huge infrastructure bill.
Was this your top pick?
Yeah, actually it was. In the last couple of days, I was honestly happy with all 4 finalists. And if it had been Andy Beshear, Mark Kelly, Tim Walz, or Josh Shapiro, I would have been happy. But what you're going to see is the right trying to define him as.
I don't think Mark Kelly really brought anything to the ticket at all. Not much. Again, Kamala made the best choice.
Yes, he did. But you're going to see that side-by-side picture of Tim Walz after he signed free school breakfast and free lunch. And someone like Sarah Huckabee Sanders, who is a star in the Republican Party, got a prime speaking spot at the RNC, signing a bill to allow kids under 16 to be able to work. That is the contrast here. A guy who wants to put food in kids' bellies and someone who wants kids to be able to work. And he's the real deal. He is what J.D. Vance wishes that he were.
So you're questioning whether.
Again, like I said, if Mike Pence or Doug Burgum were to say, Tim Walz's record is a joke, at least they can go somewhere with that. They could be like, well, I too was governor for many years. I also was in Congress and I did X, Y, and Z. But J.D. Vance can't do that. He can't. So yeah. Let's look at more of why Tim Walz is the man. Let's look at a little more of that. Indeed, we got to fix the planet the best that we can. Uber and Lyft threatened to leave Minnesota. Then Tim Walz stepped in. The Minnesota governor turned vice president. Okay, let's see. Last year, when Minnesota's progressive politicians coalesced around a bill to raise the minimum pay for Uber and Lyft drivers in the state, their ostensibly left of center governor surprised them all by pulling a move he had yet to use while in office. He vetoed it. Uber and Lyft were threatening to stop operating in Minnesota if the bill was signed into law, and Governor Tim Walz was worried about losing a mode of transportation that many Minnesotans relied on. But he also didn't want to ostracize his progressive allies, many of whom have been laboring for years to force the multi-billion-dollar ride-hail companies to cough up a little more for their beleaguered drivers. Now that he's been catapulted to the national stage as Vice President Kamala Harris's running mate, it's worth re-examining how Walz navigated a tricky situation with 2 major tech companies and their progressive opponents, and how the ultimate solution left some major issues around the gig economy unaddressed. Quote, I think these workers, these drivers in the gig economy were looking at a brand new model of how things are done, Walz told a local reporter in May of 2023, after vetoing the initial legislation. Quote, they're independent contractors, and I think there's no doubt about it. There's got to be some protections. There's got to be minimum wage. There's got to be protections on how they get deactivated. So I'm in agreement with them. I don't believe the vehicle that passed the legislature at the very end was the vehicle to do that. Supporters of the bill addressed their disappointment. The Minnesota Uber Lyft Drivers Association said on X, then Twitter, it is surprising that Tim Walz sides with corporates over poor drivers who campaigned and voted for him like he would be their savior. But their disappointment would be short-lived. A year later, Walz signed a bill into law that would raise pay for drivers by an estimated 20%, while also providing a new type of insurance for injuries incurred on the job and making it harder for Uber and Lyft to deactivate drivers from their respective platforms. I think this is very important to show that he can be worked with and that he thinks about these things and he tries to find solutions that will work. Again, from vetoing a bill when they threatened to leave to being like, it's not quite over. We're going to figure something out. And then a year later, it says he raised pay for drivers by an estimated 20%, provided a new type of insurance for injuries incurred on the job, making it and made it harder for Uber and Lyft to fire them, basically. What's this?
A celebration at the state capitol as the governor puts pen to paper on a new rideshare law, promising to keep the state's largest companies in play. Our Barrett Leone shows us why lawmakers say it's a win for everyone.
Only few people fight the fight, but victory belongs to everybody. This victory belongs to all Minnesotans.
A victory lawmakers say is worth celebrating.
There it is.
With a ceremonial signing Tuesday.
The idea that if you put in a hard day's work, you get paid a fair wage for it. That at work you should be safe, you should be taken care of, and that we're providing a service that Minnesotans depend on.
The rideshare law guarantees drivers a nearly 20% pay raise of $1.28 per mile and 31 cents per minute. It also gives drivers more benefits.
The community that I am a member of depend on this as their livelihood, and it's like 100% full-time job for them.
New rates don't start until the end of the year and will override the Minneapolis city ordinance that started the months-long debate.
Minnesota has a long history of fighting for workers. Minnesota has a long history of protecting people. When we started this fight 2 years ago, we knew it was going to be a hard fight.
A fight lawmakers say comes with a solution for everyone. But while the deal was enough to keep both Uber and Lyft operating in the state, companies say riders should expect price increases.
I think a lot of people don't want to take a ride knowing if the person that's driving them can't afford to pay their bills or their children can't eat. That's not what people want to do. They want a fairness in this.
It was a hard fight. There were a lot of tears, but we won, and the drivers won.
In St. Paul, Barrett Leone.
Sweet. Nice. Nice. But yeah, so again, more reasons why Tim Walz is an awesome individual. All right, we got a couple. We got the camo hats. Hold on, let's see. I'm hungry. My stomach is going crazy, but I gotta run before I eat, because if you eat before you run, you just go blah. So we can't let that happen. Harris Walls now stealing MAGA thunder with camo ball caps. Oh yeah, they got their own MAGA hats. They got their own MAGA. Look at him. How can you not like this guy, man? How can you not like him? Check that out. Check out the camo hat. Capping off the night. I don't wear hats anymore because of my hair. My hair just gets in the way of shit. But I'm gonna get me a camo hat. I'm going to get me a Kamala Walz camo hat, and I'm gonna put it somewhere in the office. I'm gonna set it down somewhere to where people can see it. Maybe I'll hang it up back there. We'll figure it out. Now let's see. Now what should we do? Because I got to get my ass out here and run. I got to do this. I didn't do it yesterday because it was too late and I was tired. I was so tired. But today is going down. Don't need to do that. Don't need to do that. Don't need to do that. Let's see. We'll finish with these two. We'll finish with these two. And then I'm going to get my ass out here and run. You know what I mean? Yes, very Midwestern indeed. Absolutely. Now we're going to finish off with these last two clips, and then I am going to get my workout on. Trump spots Flub's talking point live during Fox News interview as she tries to attack Kamala Harris.
Well, Kamala Harris picking Tim Walz as her running mate proves our point that Kamala Harris is dangerously liberal, as he is one of the most far-left governors in this country. And her decision not to choose Josh Shapiro, let's be honest, she did not choose him because he is a Jewish American and has expressed strong support for Israel in the past. And that is unfortunately unacceptable in today's modern-day Democrat Party.
And look, listen, at the end of the day, it's like this rhetoric, it doesn't do anything. It doesn't. Like, it's not like how this isn't going to sway people in any type of way. And then it's always hilarious to hear, when Republicans are talking about what the Democratic Party should be doing. And unfortunately, for decades, Democrats will be like, okay, you know what I'm saying? Republicans will be like, this is what you need to do. And Democrats will be like, okay. But it's looking like we're moving out of that time. We're slowly moving out of that. But we got to play our part. All of us, we all got to play our part.
President Trump is right. The Democrat Party has sadly become a cabal of anti-Semitic, anti-Israel radicals, and Kamala Harris continues to kowtow to the far-left pro-Hamas sympathizers in this great country. Look, if she wants to clear the record on why she chose Tim Walz, she can sit down for an interview with someone in the mainstream media. It's been more than 2 weeks since she became the Democrat Party's darling appointed nominee, and she's been running from the press. Her campaign website does not.
She's not running from all of this shit is dumb. This is all ridiculous. She just did an interview like last week. She sat down with somebody. I don't remember who it was. She just did a damn interview. And again, even at that, one, she'll do more, but they're just whining. They're just whining. They're crying and complaining. She'd better do this or else. Okay. And now we got, let's see. Yes, exactly. Because famously, left wingers are bigoted and hateful towards Jews. Famously, that's part of our dark mark. That's part of our curse mark. You know what I'm saying? Michelle Bachmann claims Tim Walz signed a hate white people law in Minnesota. Well, let's see what she has to say.
And so how in the world did this happen to Minnesota? How did this happen?
Easy. What they did is they infused all the school curriculum with wokeism. It's now mandated in law by Tim Walz. It's basically teaching George Floyd hate whitey curriculum. It's everything is about race. It's hate white people. White people are evil. And that
said George Floyd hate whitey curriculum.
It's basically teaching George Floyd hate whitey curriculum. It's everything is about race. It's hate white people. White people are evil. And that's in all of the curriculum. Marxism is imbued in all of the curriculum. It's mandated into law. And so
we have we got a lot of crazy people in politics. I mean, politics, power positions tends to attract a lot of crazy people. George Floyd hate whitey curriculum. Okay. All right. Now, today we went longer than yesterday. And yesterday we went longer than Monday. We went for almost 2 hours today. And I had a fantastic time with y'all, man. I really did. We had a good stream. I'm just catching up with y'all comments a little bit. But thank y'all for joining me. Thank you everybody for who updated their memberships today. Thank you for the super chats. Thank you for rocking with me, man. Y'all, I really appreciate how y'all set time aside and that y'all believe in me and that y'all support me. Because it is paying off. So I'm about to go work out, and then I'll see y'all tomorrow. I'm definitely gonna be streaming tomorrow, and catch me on Indisputable and the Power Panel on Friday. So y'all have a fantastic evening.